Humanity's most famous face was painted by him. He designed machines 400 years before they could ever be built. He filled thousands of pages with sketches of anatomy, flight, and machines of war. But Leonardo da Vinci completed almost none of his work. Historians don't describe him merely as a genius. Judged by the standards of his own time, there is another word that could be used to describe him: a failure. This is the story of how one of the greatest minds in history came dangerously close to being forgotten. In 1452, in a small town near Florence, a child was born without a legitimate place in the eyes of society. Leonardo was the son of a wealthy notary and a peasant woman. Because his parents never married, he carried the stigma of being illegitimate. And that single fact would profoundly shape the rest of his life. He could not attend university. He could not become a notary like his father. He was excluded from nearly all of the respected professions of Renaissance Italy. While the children of noble families studied Latin and law, Leonardo was forced to educate himself. He wandered through the hills surrounding Vinci, studying birds, water, and rocks. With an obsessive curiosity, he observed a world that no one had ever taught him to understand. What appeared to be exclusion became his education. At the age of 14, Leonardo was sent to apprentice in the workshop of Andrea del Verrocchio, one of Florence's most respected artists. The story told for centuries is almost too perfect. Verrocchio was working on the baptism of Christ when he allowed the young Leonardo to paint one of the angels in the corner. According to legend, when Verrocchio saw the angel painted by his apprentice, he decided never to pick up a brush again. Historians still debate how much of this story is actually true. But one fact is beyond dispute. Within just a few years, the illegitimate boy who had not even been given the opportunity to receive a formal education had already surpassed the master who trained him. This is where the story begins to lose its simplicity. Leonardo received commission after commission, but left most of them unfinished. He signed a contract for the Adoration of the Magi. He never completed the painting. He was commissioned to create a colossal bronze horse. He worked on it for more than a decade. But before the sculpture could ever be cast, the enormous model was destroyed when invading soldiers used it for target practice. Years of work disappeared in an instant. Even the Mona Lisa, perhaps the most famous painting in the world, was never delivered to the man who commissioned it. Leonardo kept the painting with him until the end of his life, constantly making changes and subtle adjustments, because in his eyes the work was never truly finished. But why? Because Leonardo was not simply a painter with science as a side interest. What he was really pursuing was far greater than any single painting. He wanted to understand how everything worked. And when you try to understand everything, nothing ever feels completely finished. While his clients waited for the commissions he never finished, Leonardo filled his private notebooks with more than 7,000 pages. He wrote from right to left, backward, like a reflection in a mirror. According to some historians, this unusual method of writing may have been a way of hiding his ideas from curious eyes and the authorities of his time. Among those pages were designs for flying machines, a parachute, an armored vehicle resembling a tank, and remarkably detailed drawings of the valves inside the human heart. Centuries later, some of his observations would prove to be astonishingly accurate when compared with modern medical imaging. To understand how muscles connected to bones, Leonardo secretly examined more than 30 human corpses, despite the practice being highly controversial and largely forbidden at the time. Yet, almost none of this work was published during his lifetime. Because Leonardo was not writing for an audience, he had only one obsession. He could never stop asking why, and that was the tragedy. All of this work changed the world almost not at all while he was alive. After Leonardo died, his notebooks were scattered. Some disappeared forever. Others remained hidden for centuries before finally coming back into the light. Leonardo had the ideas, he had the drawings, he had the answers, but the world was not ready for them yet. Leonardo died in France in 1519 while serving King Francis I, who had named him the king's first painter, engineer, and architect. By then, Leonardo was valued not merely for what he could create, but for his ability to think. According to legend, King Francis I held Leonardo in his arms as he took his final breath. Historians say this was most likely not true, but the fact that the story was repeated for centuries reveals how people came to see Leonardo, not simply as a talented painter, but as a mind too vast to fit within a single lifetime. He left behind fewer than 20 completed paintings. Look at the other artists of his time. Many produced hundreds of works. Judged by the standards of his own era, Leonardo da Vinci should have remained nothing more than a footnote in history. But he didn't. Because sometimes what matters is not the number of works a person leaves behind, but the size of the ideas they leave behind. So why is he still a name everyone knows? Because Leonardo did not simply create things. He looked at the world in a way that very few people before him ever had. He did not see painting, anatomy, engineering, and geology as separate fields. He saw them all as parts of a single question. How do things actually work? Before the term interdisciplinary even existed, Leonardo was already living that idea 400 years ahead of its time. Earning little money, frequently leaving his work unfinished, and easily becoming distracted by a new curiosity. But when it came to the thing that mattered most, he was never wrong. The Mona Lisa did not need to be delivered to the person who commissioned it to become a masterpiece. His flying machine did not need to actually fly to matter, because sometimes something is more valuable than finishing on time, being the first person to ask the right question. Leonardo da Vinci was described by those who knew him as illegitimate, unreliable, and incapable of order. History remembers him as perhaps the closest our species has ever come to a mind without limits. Thanks for watching. See you in the next story.